Okay, well, I already posted about do we have actual vaccine or we do have medication that helps and so on and so on. But now I really want to speak um, about all this anti-vax and pro-vax and does it mean against science and so on and so on. So we always have, well, recently in these 2 years we have this labeling of anyone that have doubts about vaccines or doesn't really believe in vaccines. They are automatically labeled as anti-vax and anti-science, and they are against science and so on and so on. So when you are skeptic about vaccine, it doesn't necessarily mean that you are skeptic about science. Don't forget, it's not independent and non-for-profit science. There are very big pharma companies that are standing behind vaccines. Pfizer, Moderna, AstraZeneca. So sometimes, for example, in my case, even that I'm double vaccinated, in my case, it's not like I don't believe science. I just don't really trust the companies. These companies are made to make profit. They are not doing anything for the good of humanity. They are doing it to make money, like any other business. So they are for profit. Now let's see how can we even trust them. So let's see, for example, well, Moderna I won't speak because Moderna it's new company and she just came with this vaccine and so on and so on. But I want to check two other companies that are here for a long time. So you have AstraZeneca and Pfizer. Well, Pfizer, first of all, should you trust them? Well, it's your personal opinion to trust them or not. If you don't trust them, is it against science? Not really, because just something like 10 years ago, 12 years ago, they were fined the biggest criminal fine in history. It was like $2 billion, I don't remember, but it was like a lot. Why? Because they were saying that their medication does something that it actually doesn't. So basically they were misleading, they were fined for misleading the consumers. So that they were saying something that is not true. It doesn't really matter if were lying about short or long term effects, or they were lying about what this medication actually does and so on and so on. They were fined. They were fined, they were found guilty and fined. So this is the company that stands behind one vaccine. So if I don't believe in Pfizer, does it mean that I don't believe in science? No, I just don't believe in Pfizer because they will do anything and everything to make money. And the good example for it also AstraZeneca. When AstraZeneca came out with vaccine, suddenly we got the notifications that and all the media was over it that AstraZeneca vaccines may cause damage. Well, when it just came out, AstraZeneca said, no, it's not us. It's probably underlying conditions. You see, their first response was not we will check it, not it's not us. We checked, it's not us. It's underlying condition. Then when it continued and more people were getting problems with it, they said, you know what, we checked. There is a plant in India or somewhere that we think that they have problem with their production line, that they didn't do it correctly. So there are few batches that have problem with vaccines, but we will discard them obviously and so on and so on. And then people started to have problems with vaccines from different plants. I remember in Canada they said, okay, stop using AstraZeneca, and then they said, oh no, it's okay, it's from India and we are not getting our vaccines from India, we are getting it from another plant, so let's keep using AstraZeneca. And then they discovered that no, it's not the problem of a plant, it's actually a problem with the vaccine itself. And then they said, okay, stop using AstraZeneca. You see, so all this play, like where was Health Canada? FDA, FDA didn't approve AstraZeneca, to be honest. Where was Health Canada? They are saying, like Trudeau's always saying, you need to trust our public health officials, you need to trust Health Canada. So where was Health Canada, and how did they miss it? And why did they play this ping pong? Yes, do AstraZeneca, don't do AstraZeneca. Yes, do AstraZeneca, don't do AstraZeneca. We are speaking about science, no? It's supposed to be science. AstraZeneca was supposed to say, oh yeah, you know what, we are right, we're sorry, we see now the effects. They didn't. Why? Money. money, 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 money. They wanted money and they think about money. So this is why, and this is about the trust in scientists and health professionals and Health Canada professionals. So not always they will tell the truth, not always they will know the truth. Same like Pfizer, FDA, Health Canada, they're getting this, they're giving these approvals based on data that they're getting from companies, from trials and so on and so on. Guys, you all watching movies about corruption in pharma care companies and so on and so on. You're all watching news. You saw Pfizer got the fine, so on and so on. So how much can you actually trust? Well, you don't really have independent labs that are able to check it out. You see, like for example, when vaccination just started, so few labs did say, "Oh, this vaccine is not good. This vaccine is not." Guys, if you were that smart, you would come up with your own vaccine. From other side, like, so who is checking the Pfizer vaccinations? Like, you see what I mean? We are trusting their clinical trials, but are we sure even about their effect on hearts? Like, they didn't say it from the beginning, and when they said no, it's only small amount of people with underlying conditions, and then say, yeah, there is a bigger risk to get this heart disease if you are ages below 40s and so on and so on, so let's keep doing it. So with all this ping pong that they had in the beginning, and with fines that we know, and this is fine that it was huge, this is why we know, and we don't know, I'm sure that we don't know a lot of mishaps that they had in their history with vaccines. Listen, Pfizer developed Viagra not as Viagra, it was like mistake. Yes, they patented it and everything, and Viagra is huge distribution in the whole world until today. Even, well, we just lost the patent, I believe, so we now need to compete with other companies and so on for Viagra. But they found it by mistake. They actually looked for different medication, like for medication for different disease. It was the side effect. It was the side effect. Viagra, it was the side effect that actually turned out to be good enough for making it as a main effect. Can you trust? And they had like clinical trials and so on and so on. Can you really trust them? Like, I do understand you need to take risks, but don't blame people for having concerns about medications. It's not the science that they don't trust. It's mostly the companies, the huge corporates, huge pharma care companies that they don't trust, because the main purpose of these companies is not to help humanity, is not to heal humanity, is to make money. They are corporate companies, huge companies, they have shareholders, they need to pay money. They need to pay a lot of money to CEOs, to presidents, to scientists. They need to have, and trust me, a lot of money is allocated towards lobbying and so on and so on. So they will have a support in FDA, they will have support in Health Canada, they will have support of governments. Like, this is how they do it. I mean, they did the biggest clinical trial that they did in their history. I believe it was Israel. They just gave almost for free or really discounted Pfizer vaccines. It was the first country that actually got them in huge amounts, and they did lab tests on 9 million people there, like for free. They didn't even have to pay for a test. All they asked is, okay, we are giving you vaccines and you are sending us reports, all the data. So it was basically like clinical test on huge amount of people. How did the Israeli government agree to it? Didn't agree to it? Again, I can understand everything. It was chaos. We started with COVID, and nobody knew about COVID. Nobody knew how to deal with it. Nobody knew anything about it. So I'm not judging the governments to start with vaccinations. And I'm not judging some governments. Well, I do judge governments to continue with vaccinations today, because today we know that it's not working against the COVID that we have today. Like, it did work against Alpha. Now with Delta it was like 70% effective, 60% effective. With Omicron it's not effective at all. But again, it's not about why they started with vaccine. Like, I don't understand the governments. They were in shock. They didn't know what to do. They needed to come up with some sort of solution that will help somehow. It did help. Well, some will say that it didn't help, but I won't lie. Like, it probably did help. Like, alpha for sure, it did help. And another thing, Pfizer said right now that, well, not right now, a few weeks ago, that, okay, we found vaccine specifically against Omicron. We are starting the clinical trials, but since we are sure in the foundings of clinical trials, we will start manufacturing it now, and we should have an option to start supplying this vaccine in March. And then Fauci from US, like the chief doctor, he said, like, well, I'm not sure that we will need your vaccine in March because, well, based on how it spreads now, there is a good chance that most of the people will get it by then. So why would we need the vaccine? Like, they will have natural immunity. And then a few days later, suddenly you are starting to see these articles about how the new subvariant of Omicron was found. B2A or I don't remember the name even, but it's something new. It could be more dangerous, more deadlier, and spreading faster, and so on. Who did you pay to promote it? Like, seriously, like, just so people will start buying these vaccines for Omicron because you already developed it and you already have it on hand? So you see, all these things, it just makes us not to trust the companies. Like, we do believe in science, most of us at least believe in science, believe in vaccines. We all got a lot of vaccines when we were kids. We just don't trust today's pharmacare companies because they, in my opinion, it's all about money today. Not about people, not about anything else. It's all about how to make money, and a lot of money. So this is about Pfizer, Moderna, AstraZeneca, and companies like this. They are all about making money. Same like, we're doing patents. Why? We're doing patents so nobody else will produce the same medication because they want all the money to go to them. Bye.